Hi everybody, right? So the last video of my training series where I share all my entire life's work, right? My best strategies, mindset, perspectives, right? Tactics and step-by-step guides about how you can build a lucrative lifestyle business throughout 2024 and beyond. Right? I'm going to share with you my non-negotiable rules of success. Because at the end of the day, right, like I shared with people many times, right? Information is nothing without implementation. And without the right mindsets or strategy to take action, right? Chances are most of us will never succeed. And so with that, right, I'm going to share with you my entire list and I'm going to explain even deeper, right, about my own non-negotiable rules for ultimate success that you can apply and use for yourself to grow a successful business. So enjoy this video, right? Remember to implement, and I'll see you very soon. Alright, so welcome to part 3, right, of the 5th stage, right, where I share all the mental models, accelerated learning, and mindsets, right, that have helped me, right, to build a multiple six-figure business, right, while being fulfilled and happy as well. And the final segment, right, is something that I really am very grateful for, because what I've done, right, over the years, right, is what I call building a toolbox of what I call mental models, right, or empowering mindsets, right, just a way, right, and these are the mindsets, the strategies, the mental models that have helped me, right, to achieve the success, right, and the fulfillment. I'm very grateful for it. And the term mental models was popularized by legendary investor Charlie Munger, right, which has provided him a toolbox of many powerful frameworks for thinking and decision making. If you think about it, right, at the end of the day, right, success all just comes down to making more good decisions and avoiding the bad ones. Right, so if you think about it, right, so whether you have a limiting belief, right, the decision, if you know you have a limiting belief, is to either do nothing about it or talk to someone to it, or just try to address it, right, by talking to a mentor about it. So you realize that everything you struggle, right, you have simply many decisions to make every single day, and they will either move you forward to your goal or prevent you from achieving what you want. If you have free time, would you rather spend the time scrolling social media, right, reading a book, right, or right, catching up with a friend, right? There are always multiple decisions making every single day, and the more powerful your mental models are, the more powerful decisions you make, right, the closer you are to achieving your dream life. Okay, so besides reading more than 100 books, right, 100 hours of videos, attending countless events, right, on this entire area, right, I was also fortunate to interview many of top coaches, mentors, entrepreneurs out there, right? You can check out over here in the link, right, or all my future interviews through my YouTube channel, right? So by the way, all these are the summaries, right? So you actually get it all written down for you, right? You don't have to watch the hours of video. If you want to, right, actually read it, and then you can check it out right through the video yourself. Right, so this is a free resource all for you that you can check out on your own. And so, yeah, here are some of the most essential mindset that equipped me for success and fulfillment all over the past decade. So number one, right, the first mental model, right, is to have a specific money plan, because people that usually tend to come from a space of fear or struggle when it comes to the business or job, it simply means that they don't have a specific money plan, right, in terms of allocation, the strategy and whatnot, right? So something to take note, right, is I do have this thing called the Financial Freedom Blueprint coming out, right? You can check it out very soon, right, through my social medias. And these are the framework system I've created for myself, help all of the above, right, in terms of having a financial game plan that's specific in just 1 or 2 hours, right? And this is something to check out, right? Just stay tuned for it. If not, it could be even your bonus segment, right, if we actually created it by then. Next one is what I call be willing to pay the price. And when I say pay the price, it's not just money, right? It's in terms of, right, the kind of price you're willing to take with the effort, the time, the stress, the struggle to be able to achieve whatever you want. So the big question, right, is never about the goals or declaration you set, right? You're going to ask yourself, are you willing to work towards it? So it's about paying the price not just in terms of effort or stress, but it's about, are you willing to be uncomfortable, to embrace fear, to embrace things you're not comfortable with, taking risks, making sacrifices, right, to achieve what you really want. So my take is, right, instead of just setting the goals, you have to ask yourself also, are you willing to pay the price? Very important question. Next thing, right, I think I shared it before, right, which is the power of context over content. So take note, right, what might sound like perfect advice to somebody, right, could turn out to be disastrous to someone else. And why? Because everyone has a unique set of circumstances, preferences, struggles, which is why, right, over here at MI, right, we're not here to prescribe you with generalized vague solutions, but personalize each one for you. One of the things I don't like about the industry and the space is that everything is very mass created. And so one thing to note, right, is whether you're asking questions, feedback, look to provide as much context as possible for whoever's answering you, and make sure that they personalize the answer to you, rather give you generic answers as well. And so this also applies when you're looking to persuade or influence someone, right, to make sure to always understand their context first, their entire situation first. Okay. Next thing, I also realized that people who are not just rich but happy as well, right, that's very important, is they not just from a moral or philosophical or ethical thing, right? I realized that winners who win in the long term always focus on being abundant, right? Always focus on giving all. It doesn't mean I give to the point where I struggle myself, right? But always try to help as many people as possible, right? So the more we focus on only ourselves, the more likely we'll lose. Because why? Motivation theory has shown time and time again, the more you focus on others, right, the more energy, the more drive you'll have, rather than just doing it all for yourself. So share openly, give openly, support and help in whatever you can. The universe will pay back anyway. This is why, right, on some level, right, I'm over-delivering way more than expected by providing this entire training for you. Because I'm trying to give as much as possible, right? Because I know the universe will come back to me in many different ways. Okay, of course, disclaimer, don't give giving to your burnout. I have nothing left to. So making sure you take care of yourself, right? It's also a long-term thing, right? When it comes to being a giver also. Okay, so the next thing, right, is think long term, right? So one thing I realized is, yes, most of the time, right, I try to think long term, right, and this allows me, right, to create long term results, right, not just short term one, which might not work in the short term, right? So while there's a need, right, yes, for sure, to prioritize short term needs, you need to make sure that you always account what are the long term solutions or what Ray Dalio calls the second or third order consequences, to make sure that every decision you make, right, don't just think on the short term, right, 1 day, 2 months results, right, think about what is going to affect you in the long term. So do not take action that you are not confident will give you positive long-term results. Okay, next thing is, right, you also want to be patient as well, because if you're truly succeeding in the long term, you need to take actions, right, that you might not see the immediate results but help you out only in the months or years down the road. Okay, so next one, right, is what I call the survival versus growth brain. So what I realized, the reason why most of us do not take the right action, right, is because we are always succumbing to what I call the survival brain, right? That allows us, right, to be safe, to be comfortable, doing what is easy, right, to keep us alive and to always look out for danger. However, right, there's also another part of us what we call a growth brain. The part where we know that we are also made for more in the world, that we have unlimited potential and strive to focus on what really excites and engages us. And there's a bit of conflict because why? Whatever potentially drives us might be dangerous as well. And the thing is, because we are primed with a million-year-old brain, we're always focused more on survival. Right, so the thing to note, right, when you're starting on your personal development, personal growth journey, right, the internal challenges, right, you face in life will be mostly because of your survival brain. And this goes to be dominated in by most of your life, by your society, by parents, by school, by government as well. So it's very difficult to break out of it. And so that's why in your journey, right, whether you face challenges such as fear, imposter syndrome, right, being unmotivated, right, know that just a survival brain talking to ask yourself, right, do you want to let that continue dominating your life, or do you wish to activate your growth brain more often moving forward? Okay, next thing, one of my favorite one, which is I love to always model first, innovate later. So I talk about success modeling, right, in part 1 and 2, right, of this video. But what realize, right, this works especially well if you're trying to start out and wish to make massive progress in a short period of time. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Whether it's career, relationships, health, right, taking care of a puppy, taking care of a kid, right, don't try to reinvent all the wheel by yourself. Try to learn from people who have already done it before. Right, and only after you achieve a bit of progress, a bit of results, then you can take some time to innovate, right, and personalize these strategies to your personal preferences and what tends to work better for you. But the initial period, try to model after what's really working, so you can shortcut and accelerate your learning curve, right, as much as possible. And this is what I call one of the most underrated strategies of all time: model first, innovate later. Okay, so next thing, right, if you're ever getting a bit of imposter syndrome, right, chances are, right, just because, hey, you might be true, right, whenever you're facing about imposter syndrome, it's true that maybe you won't get the results that you want, right, so on and so forth. So what I do, right, besides having a bit of mindset address, right, but one of the best things I do is to ask myself, have I created results for myself, or have I created results for my others already? Because if you have not, right, yes, imposter syndrome might work, might be valid. So that's why, right, when helping people, right, when it's something I'm not that confident of, I always give things like money back guarantees. I be openly sharing it as a beta program, right, and that's why I give a bit of discount. I always want to ask for feedback. I'll be open about the fact that maybe I'm not the best in the world, and that's what I do. And you'll never know if you're good enough until you actually do it, right? So that's why the best way to address imposter syndrome, right, yes, you can have some weird mindset, but to really experience it for yourself to see whether are you good enough, and to get objective data from the people you have helped. Because if you have not, right, it's going to be just your survival brain talking over and over again. So it's actually good, right? At the same time, I tell myself, it's actually good if I'm experiencing imposter syndrome, because it means I'm grounded, I'm humble, and I really want to focus on creating any value instead of trying to fake my way through. And so remember that there are never good or bad feelings. There's only how you respond to them that truly matters. And so this is what I mean, right, about getting results first when it comes to trying to overcome imposter syndrome. Create results first. Okay, right, a couple more, right, before I end off, right. So this one is what I call there are never unrealistic goals, only unrealistic deadlines. So for example, right, if I said that I want to make $1 billion tomorrow, no matter how much positive thinking I can have, right, no matter how many books I read, how many programs I jump right up and down to have energetic, right, it's going to be quite unrealistic. But if I said, right, I have a 25-year time frame to be a billionaire, or 50 years or 100 years, if I'm willing to pay the price as mentioned earlier, okay, it's a lot more possible. And so the reason why most folks, right, feel they never succeed is not because they are not good enough, right, just they're not patient enough. Because why, right, if you take note of this is a long-term journey, right, that it will take time, right, the more likely you'll be able to succeed. Right, so when setting goals and targets, right, realize they're not just about the goal itself, but the timeline, right, and make sure, right, there's something that you're willing to pay the price for. Okay. And a couple more, right? So next one is action versus clarity. So anytime you're facing, right, with lack of clarity, right, or direction, right, or purpose or fulfillment in life, right, realize that there'll never be an angel that falls down from the sky that tells exactly what life purpose is, but can only be done by a road of self-awareness, discovery, data collection, reflection, and know that as you change and evolve, your life purpose and mission will always evolve and change too. So the only thing you can do then, right, to continue taking action, reviewing what you have done, right, conversing with people who might have already been at a space where you were like, right, keep adjusting and get there, right. Remember that action brings more clarity. The worst thing I can do is to keep telling myself, oh, I have no clarity, I have no clarity. Do something about it. Okay? And next thing, right, is one of the best things I've learned, right, over the years is that you'll never feel 100% of a certain feeling all the time. You'll never feel 100% safe, 100% confidence, 100% clarity, rich, fulfilled. You'll never feel 100% of any feeling. This goes as humans, right? We are always primed to change, to grow and evolve. So while some people might hate it, right? Because what you realize is that you'll never face 100% of feeling a certain good feeling. There'll always be part of it that maybe feel that you're not good enough. Or maybe have a little bit of dissatisfaction, right? Or a little bit, right, of struggle. Or a little bit of like, am I really good enough? And instead of feeling bad and guilty or hating it, I embrace it, right? And that's how I feel so good, right? Which is I always realize there's always a part of me that will always feel that's not good enough, right? And so this means I can stop thinking, right, about whether I'm perfect enough, but just focus on growth, progress, and just enjoy the process as well. Right, and the last thing is that, hey, you got this. Yes, you might not feel 100% great all the time, but realizing, right, embracing and just taking that as a fact is one of the best keys to do to unlocking that freedom, right, in terms of mindset. Because then you start focusing not on being 100% perfect, but on growing and progressing as well. Okay, so and with that as a final resource to really, right, over deliver, right, prepare for it is something that means a lot. So one thing is the first ever seminar I've attended in a personal development space, right, is just by one of my current mentors called Stuart Tan, as of time in this video, right? Same mentor as Tony Robbins, has spoken to more 500,000 people. I think right now it's close to 30 years of being a coach, right? And last time he offered a couple of $1,000 for a program, which I couldn't afford because I was still an army kid, or I was just not resourceful enough, right? So 10 years later, I invested about 5 figures into his coaching program, and in just less than 1 month, I addressed some of the most limiting beliefs that have been plaguing me through the years. And so what happened, right, was a couple of months back, right, I asked if I interviewed him on his best lessons he have accumulated over the years, over the decades, right, that he usually only shares with private clients, and he actually agreed. So what was supposed to be just a 60-minute interview, by the way, turned to 3 hours, and I transcribed the entire interview, right, into a simple digest to apply notes, right, for everyone to benefit. So it's over here. You can actually download his guides, right, over here into Decades of Wisdom, right? And by the way, as of this time, if you're lucky, right, I also conduct regular public sharing sessions with Stuart as well, right? So there's still stores, you can check it out, right? If not, if you click on the link, there might be another resource we will provide you. And usually, right, Stuart also provide a few lucky folks for life coaching, right? And please note, depending on when you read this, right, it might be invalid as well. Just FYI, right, if you're watching this, right, you might be able to get some value one way or another. Okay, so this is my final resource I would love to give to you. So remember, right, to wrap it up, right, success in life has almost nothing to do with information, but everything to do with implementation. So whether you feel excited, reading this guy, overwhelmed or nervous, right, just my final tip is remember your why. Right? Why do you decide to do this journey, right? Why are you working so hard for? Why do you decide to not be the majority of people who are just stagnant and content, right, with not growing? Right? So what's your motivation at the end of the day, right? Your family, your friends, your lifestyle. And so this is the fun exercise I do with many of my private clients at workshops, right? And I highly recommend for you to do it, right, no matter what stage of life you're at right now, which is simply to write a future letter to yourself. So look over here, right? This is a website called Future Me, right? You can just write and schedule a letter to yourself for 6 months, 1 year down the road, right? And my take is to answer these 2 questions. Number 1, if you implemented everything in your action plan, or based on whatever you want to do, how will your life look like in the next 10 weeks, 10 months, and 10 years? On the other hand, if you did not implement whatever you mentioned, what will your life look like in the next 10 weeks, 10 months, and 10 years, right? To really write down, right, for the pleasure, right, of what you do in your life, right, if you actually achieve what you do, and right, what would happen if you did not implement and take action on. So you can always change it. You can write your own email, right? And this is one of the most powerful things you can do, right? And I do it for myself, my clients, right, my friends. They've helped them out a lot as well. And so be truthful and open in the exercise. You're only writing to yourself. You don't have to submit to me, right? Whatnot. Right? This is really just for yourself, right? To do it. And again, I recommend you to do it. It might sound like good to have. It might sound like I don't need it. I can get a value from it, right? When you do it, when you experience it for yourself, I guarantee you, right, a lot of changes could happen when this happens. Okay, so with that, I hope, lastly, I hope this post inspires you, right? You can just check it out directly, right? It's just a little bit of my own story about writing my own action plan, my own goals, right? And how I was able to achieve them, right? By applying many of the principles that I shared as well. So it takes a bit of time to load, but when you click on it, right, I guarantee you that it will. And I do hope that this post, right, does inspire you to keep moving forward, keep taking action, and don't just focus on the tactics, but focus on your why. right? Focus on the mindset, focus on the emotion, but this can be as powerful, if not more powerful, than whatever tactics or strategies you have learned for yourself. And so, right, remember, right, this is just the beginning, right? Embrace the journey, be worth it. If you would like us to do everything for you, right, to handhold you through the entire process, right, whether high income game plan, your offer, a high performance process, right, mindset support, right? So if you like us to do 80% of the work together with you in the next 30, 60 days together, where you only pay that the results, which means, right, if you don't get results, you don't have to pay, we'll refund you, right? Apply to speak my team on the team here, right? But if not, right, I hope you really enjoyed yourself, right, in this entire video training, right? I look forward to working with you, right, one way or another down the road, right? And all the best. I'll see you very soon.